Hi, good morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m., so it's time to begin our session this morning. My name is Maria, and on behalf of Trelleborg Medical Solutions, I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, in which we will be introducing our BioPharmaPro portfolio. This webinar will be presented by two of our experts. We have Florence Veronelli. She's our segment manager for healthcare and medical in Europe. And we also have Mike Urbanski, our business development manager for the biopharmaceutical industry. So good morning. Nice to see you, Florence. Nice to see you, Mike. I know it's very early for you, Mike. You're located in the US, so we do appreciate you being with us so early. It's always nice to see you. So welcome. And before you jump into your presentation, I just have a brief information for our attendees, our participants. Before we get started, two things you should know. So we highly welcome your questions for Florence and Mike. So they will be presenting and I will be collecting your questions for them. If you want to ask a question, please use the questions pane on your control panel. And I'm pointing to the right side because for me it's on the right side. You should have a GoToWebinar control panel in which you have different menus. So if you have a question for our presenters, please use the questions window. I will be collecting them and we will be addressing them at the end of the presentation. We can't hear and we can't see you. So if you need to communicate with us, please use the chat window. So it's below the questions. And I know that Florence and Mike might be asking a few questions to our audience this morning. So if you would like to participate and answer those questions, there's no right or wrong. So if you would like to participate, please use the chat window to type in your answers. This session is being recorded and we will be sharing the link to the recording with you in a newsletter in a few days when we have it ready. That's all I have to say. I will now disappear and I will hand over to Florence and Mike, and I will see you at the end of your session.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much for this kind introduction. And yeah, welcome everyone to our introduction into BioPharmaPro, to our webinar about our new BioPharmaPro portfolio. So thanks for being here and getting a first sense of what we are doing here together with us. BioPharmaPro is the brand name of our latest portfolio introduction, and it all comes under the slogan of accelerate the advancement of life-changing therapies now. What do we mean by that? We definitely want to support you to bring your systems to market as fast as possible so that we can get the new therapies, new drugs, new vaccines, and everything as fast as possible. COVID showed us that development times can be shortened, and we want to support you in just getting all of this done as quickly as possible. But before digging completely into the portfolio, we want to give you a short overview about Trelleborg itself, about the group that you know to whom you are actually talking to. The Trelleborg Group is actually split into two different business areas. This is Trelleborg Industrial Solutions and Trelleborg Sealing Solutions. We are active in more than 40 countries with more than 60,000 employees, and we're actually founded in 1905. And from beginning on, the Trelleborg Group was focusing on polymers for all kinds of industries. You see the lower part, Trelleborg Sealing Solutions. This is where we are located at. They are also active in several industries with a special focus on elastomers and other polymers. And a very big focus here is the healthcare and medical area. So within this organization, we are Trelleborg Healthcare and Medical, focusing on more than just seals as in sealing solutions, but really on complete solution for the healthcare and medical market. So Trelleborg Healthcare and Medical, what do we want to do? We want to help pharmaceutical and medical device companies to improve patient quality of life. We know that behind all of our products, in the end, there will be a patient who wants to be treated in the right way and who wants to have a good life in the end. So we know that this is our biggest and overall target, and we know that this is only possible by forming lasting partnerships. This market market is not a market in which you have a high fluctuation or anything, but you want to have a long-lasting, reliable supply of high-quality products. And this is what we want to guarantee you by our expertise and our material knowledge to ensure that you get in a long timeline, the same products and the same quality so that you can rely on the products you supply in the end to your customers. So how do we want to do that? And the first thing here is really we are an industry leader in molding and extrusion. So what we do, like forever since 1905, when we were founded in the beginning, is molding of polymers and elastomers in all kind of shapes. We start from an O-ring, but we go to very complex shapes in the molding, and it's the same in the extrusion business. So there is already a lot of capabilities available, but we want to bring this together with several services. We speak about packaging, labeling, marking together, and then assemble it to a full solution. So we want to act as a full solution contract manufacturer for you. How can we do this? As an extension of your project teams. This means if you come to us very early on in the development, we can support you in finding the right design and then bring this project from first prototypes to serial business, which gives you the support over the complete time from the experts for a certain material. And not only that, but also there is a learning curve over this time. So this just fastens the complete process very much. Yeah, and with all of that, we are driven to help you succeed. Help you succeed, why? For sure, our success is very much depending on your success. And in the end, also the patient is very much depending on your success. So we definitely want you to help you to succeed in your market. What is our advantage that we can give you by that? It's on the one hand, the material expertise with all of our own materials and then the latest materials which are on the market that we can use and combine. Combined with the engineering experts who have a lot of experience in design for functionality and design for manufacturability. The highest standard for us is always quality. Quality is super important as we are in a very sensitive market. And also very important for us is we want you to talk to local experts, but you should have access to a global organization. So we have always local contacts to whom you can talk with, but then we have a global organization behind to ensure that we have a global availability of the products for all of you. What we got until now is what matters most to you is really the speed to market. So how fast can we launch a new product? And then also quality, for sure. Everything needs to be on the highest quality standards, and it needs to be combined with a reliable supply. So availability, we saw this especially during the last years, was a big issue, and we know availability is the most important thing in case you want to or you need to produce new therapies very fast. Also, a lot of the biopharmaceutical companies tend to have a global manufacturing footprint. So we need to serve this in the same way. So we are working on global expansions. You will hear more about that. And in the end, we can help you with engineered and innovative solutions. So with this very first introduction in Trelleborg and Trelleborg Healthcare and Medical, we now really want to come to BioPharmaPro, to our latest portfolio that we are introducing. What would be really interesting for us to know also about you is where is it actually where you are working at. So if you want to, it would be great to get some answers from you in the chat about what are the main applications you are working with, especially within the biopharmaceutical system, within the biopharmaceutical market, or if you're maybe not completely working towards one application, what is the industry you are working in? So if you can give us a little background on you, that would be super interesting. And I'm sure we can use it in a later stage to make sure that our presentation is a little bit more focused, maybe also towards your application. So feel free to enter a bit more information about the applications we are mainly working with into the chat. So BioPharmaPro. We have for the biopharmaceutical market within Trelleborg an own vision, and this vision is to be a partner of choice for biopharma system suppliers. That means that we focus on engineered solutions for the fluid path for single-use systems. So everything what is in fluid contact, in media contact, in all the single-use systems, and we know that this needs to be provided with high quality. You need a reliable supply. And with that, we want to help you to focus on the actual manufacturing process of the therapies and not the complete supply chain behind. A few things about the background. So BioPharmaPro, this is now our official portfolio for the single-use biopharmaceutical processing market. We see that the market is growing globally. So we want to support you with innovative capabilities that we have that we are going to introduce to you now. Very quickly about the biopharmaceutical segment and application, where we see that it is tricky right now and where we want to support you is, on the one hand, there is a huge demand, but on the other hand, there are your final customers who are really focused on selling the drug and maybe also finding the right target proteins, which will be used for the drug in the end. But the actual development of the manufacturing process tends to switch more and more to the system suppliers. So the focus of system suppliers is currently changing more towards the process development and also media production, which means core capabilities or core competencies of the system suppliers are shifting. So there is a big capacity and resource issue. And then in parallel, we have ever-growing regulatory requirements. So all of this needs to be considered. With that, we see that we can support you with actually being a contract manufacturer for you who can take over everything what needs to be done upfront. So focusing on the single system, how is the mechanical interaction working? What do we need to do to have the right product in place to combine them? And also we can make sure that the complete supply chain here is combined under one supplier for you. So what you will see in the next slides, everything are in-house capabilities of Trelleborg. So we can be one supplier with a global setup for you. You don't have to take care on the supply chain anymore. We consolidate it and can bring to you a final solution as it is needed for your specific market requirements. And with that, I would like to hand over to Mike, who gives you a bit more information about the actual portfolio that we are offering.
Yeah, thank you, Florence, and welcome to everybody here joining us for the webinar today. Again, my name is Mike Urbanski, and I primarily act as our business development manager for the biopharma space, working on a global scale. So on these next couple of slides, what I'll take you through here are details of what this portfolio launch is. We'll dive into specifics on each capability and the materials used for each capability, a little bit on some application highlights for each of these capabilities. And these are all focused on what Florence said, all focused on single-use solutions for the fluid path systems within your biopharma manufacturing equipment. So it's going to be a mixture of individual components and then taking it a step further into more integrated solutions, as we call them, or assemblies of larger systems for your products. So the portfolio as a whole is not just a product launch. It's a mixture of components, its materials, its services, and those integrated solutions or assemblies of near final products for our customers. All the capabilities are available in full solution. So we'll look at extrusion, we'll look at molding, even some composite manufacturing using thermoplastic, fiber reinforced materials. We'll look at services and assemblies of specific products that we'll dive into in this webinar, but it's certainly not an exhaustive list of those services and assemblies that we can look at. And all of this is really being manufactured and assembled, shipped to you through a clean room production facility. We'll dive into some of the compliances with quality standards, which is certainly a big highlight for the biopharma market. So we'll look at some of the needs that we've been hearing within the biopharma market and how we're addressing those needs through a lot of our compliances on the materials that we use. So this is BPOG testing with tubing, biocompatibility, animal-derived components and ingredients, and then that clean room manufacturing through particle control and good manufacturing practices. So how does this whole portfolio function? So as Trelleborg, we really want to be a one-stop shop for you for your single-use fluid path systems, right? So if you have a system that you're manufacturing, a system that you're designing, Trelleborg is equipped to handle that entire single-use system for you. So looking at not only the tubing, for example, but looking at tubing sets, assemblies, and even those larger systems that are full single-use products. And we can even consider assembling and manufacturing all the components in that assembly here within our Trelleborg network. This is really to reduce your supplier base, which in turn reduces risk on the supply chain, as Florence talked about earlier. We want to take in all of that, all those supply chain heartaches over these last couple of years within our own network. So a little bit on the materials, and I'll certainly dive into more specifics on each of these, but all of the materials range from elastomers, which are traditional to Trelleborg on some of the sealing solutions, looking at thermoplastics, silicones, and then, as I alluded to a little bit earlier, even fiber reinforced composite materials that we'll look at as well. The scope of this portfolio is really, it's focusing on your needs, right? So everything that we've encapsulated here in this portfolio are driven towards exactly what you, our customers, need. This is, again, not a full exhaustive list. We want to focus on innovative solutions. So if there's something here that was not talked about and is still a need for you, we would certainly be interested in looking at that. We want to be your go-to supplier, a one-stop shop for anything single-use fluid path. All right, so diving into more on the capabilities here. So we'll start with tubing. So under the new BioPharmaPro brand name, we offer platinum cured silicone tubing with a wide range of standard sizes that are really focused on the biopharma segment, looking at both 50 and 65 Shore materials in our silicone tubing, looking at some of the compliances and the quality standards for tubing. We have full E&L data available on BPOG and USP 665, and USP 88 Class 6 compliant on our silicone material as well. And just, an application highlight for these tubes, this is really the backbone of single-use applications within the biopharma market. So these are all used for production fluid path single-use systems for the biopharma manufacturing market. Looking at braided hose as well. So this is the same platinum cured silicone reinforced to make it a braided hose. This is for a little bit higher pressure environments. So looking at some of the production systems that require pressure within their systems, this braided hose is used during those applications. Again, a very wide range of standard sizes available for this market. E&L data, again, available for braided hose as well, and USP 88 Class 6 compliant for the braided hose. So taking it a little bit of a step further into more of an engineered solution, we can offer fittings onto the tubing as well. So the picture here shows an overmolded connector that goes onto the end of a tube. We can offer these overmolded capabilities for our tubing, so that this would be a tube that's cut to length, overmolded with a fitting to be used with a clamp, for example, towards more of a tubing assembly or tube set need for to go onto a single-use system. Not only just overmolded connections, but we can consider crimped or sanitary connections that go on to tubing sets. And really what this overmold does is it's really optimized for dead room free designs, right? So, contamination, obviously a huge factor in this market. So looking at an overmolded piece, even though it's single use, there could be some contamination that could get behind a traditional connection. With an overmolded piece would eliminate that risk within the system. Sheeting, so that this is again a silicone sheet application. These sheets are available in really custom designs tailored to your needs. Some examples could be vulcanized versus unvulcanized materials, reinforced versus non-reinforced. You can see in the picture here that this is a reinforced sheet. So depending on the application, if there's a little bit more rigidity needed, we can consider a reinforced silicone sheet for your solution. We can pigment the material and then consider rolled or cut to shape depending on your needs for sheets. Just one application highlight for some silicone sheeting. Within a bioreactor, there's certainly some mixing that is needed for the solutions inside a bioreactor during the upstream process. So the sheets are used for a low shear, for a little bit more of the fragile proteins. If you're working with a more fragile protein, these sheets can offer a very low shear mixing application for a bioreactor, for example. Considering some LSR molded pieces as well. So all the tubing was all on the extrusion side, so extruded silicone. One of Trelleborg's core competencies and core capabilities is also molding. So looking at silicone molding or LSR, we can consider really any needs that you have on the molded piece side of silicone as well. So we can offer very high consistency and precision, very complex or simple designs we can consider on molding, and then from micro size parts all the way up to pretty large parts that we can mold using LSR as well. And these really range from really any application that's needed for silicone LSR parts. Just a couple examples would be gaskets. So we can consider gaskets with microfluidic structures as seen on the picture here. We can even look at seals. So if there's a need for silicone seals in an application, we can consider LSR being that solution to manufacture those seals. Looking at multi-component materials, so this is a bit of a unique capability as well. The picture here is a great example of a multi-component part, which looks at a thermoplastic piece and then adding a silicone material that's bonded directly to that material. And really what this does is, in this very example, it's eliminating dead space for an O-ring, right? So the solution before on this piece, you can see the little silicone tip on the bottom end. The older solution for this product was to have an O-ring groove with an O-ring slid into it to create the seal. This multi-component silicone overmold onto this piece eliminates the need for that O-ring, therefore eliminating any risk of dead space within that valve. So this is one example, one highlight of multi-component parts, but we can consider this for any application with a thermoplastic piece in silicone brought together. This, just a couple highlights of, increased cleanliness, mitigated risk for any of those dead spaces, and also very high consistency and precision with molding of the thermoplastic, and then the multi-component piece, which is the overmold of the silicone. All right, this is a very unique capability that we've brought to the biopharma market, which are advanced composite materials, as we're calling them. So these are fiber reinforced thermoplastic materials, and in this very example, this is a polypropylene reinforced with glass fiber. Really what this accomplishes is you can maintain a high pressure environment inside these columns with using significantly less material. From a sustainability standpoint, this is a really key benefit, and it's also a recyclable material using polypropylene, even with the glass fiber reinforcement. So you can maintain those high pressures with less material, and these solutions are really designed to your needs. So we can optimize the composite laminate to really optimize what its use is, and therefore reduce the wall thickness and reduce material as much as we can. These have great mechanical characteristics. These are quite often replacing a stainless steel or a very big unreinforced polypropylene that's currently being used as a single-use solution, and even acrylics that are used in the market. One key application highlight would be a chromatography column. So if you can consider these other single-use materials that are used in the market, for example, a polypropylene chromatography column could be extremely thick, very bulky, very heavy. We can achieve the same use pressures within these reinforced columns at a fraction of the weight and a fraction of the material used. More on the thermoplastic side, so this is more on the thermoplastic molding part. I talked a little bit about connectors before, so we can in-house make tubing connectors, for example, using thermoplastics, but also a wide range of other uses for thermoplastics. As seen on the screen here, there's a couple multi-material thermoplastic pieces, and then really any use for thermoplastics. From PAs to polysulfones, polycarbonates, really all the way up to the highly engineered grades of PEEK, really the full range of more commodity-based thermoplastics all the way up to engineered grades are within our molding capabilities. In-house tool making, or LSR tools as well. We have all in-house tooling that are made, and we have the ability to go from prototyping all the way up through production, all within our own Trelleborg network. This, as I talked a little bit about before with the multi-material, these thermoplastics will really complement an elastomer. It could be a two-component material, as I talked in a previous slide, but also just an assembled solution. So we can look at thermoplastics with elastomers assembled onto those pieces, for example. A couple application highlights are, connectors and really any other fluid path component using thermoplastic materials. And then traditional to Trelleborg sealing solutions, we offer our wide range of sealing solutions for the biopharma market. So we can use the same materials that we've used in a traditional Trelleborg sealing solution sense and bring them into this market. We have all the biopharma certifications, USP Class 6, biocompatibility for the majority of our materials on the sealing side. So we can really look at any of our traditional sealing systems into this market. This ranges from simple O-rings all the way up to very complex, multifaceted geometries, different materials. Are all within now the biopharma market for us. All right, so taking all of the single components, single offerings into consideration, we can now bring them all together into what we call integrated solutions or more product assembly for you. So we can consider all of the pieces that we can make, and then looking at the overall assembly, we could make those components, bring them into a clean room, if not manufactured in a clean room, assemble them, and then ship that final product or near final product to you. So this includes, any marking, printing on more just simpler pieces, but also considering some more complex assembly with welding, gluing, cutting, even pressing pieces in. We can consider all of these operations, these services into, near final products. This example here is a chromatography column, for example, looking at all of the internal pieces of that column we can manufacture in-house, assemble it together, and then ship that final product to you. Also looking at tubing systems. So with the tubing that we talked about before, looking at not only the tubes and braided hoses, but we can look at tubes with plastic pipes assembled onto it for a more full tubing system, and then looking at seals, clamps, putting it all together into a clean room, package it, and ship it to you. So this is ultimately where our expertise is in this market, and this is really where we find the most value to our customers, and what we're being asked to do more and more is to take on this product assembly for you. All right, so looking at more of the compliance side of all of these components, all of these materials, what the BioPharmaPro name will bring to you is that peace of mind that the materials that you're receiving, the products that you're receiving, will have all of the biopharma compliances and certifications behind it, right? So these certainly vary from product to product. For example, BPOG and USP 665 for any fluid path tubing system. So we have all this testing done. Any other extractables and leachables profiles, any other biocompatibility testing, animal-derived ingredients, all of these will be presented with the material and the product that you'll receive under the BioPharmaPro name. So for these materials, information on substances like allergens, latex, all of this is within the compliances as well. And then more general regulations like REACH, ROSE, California Prop 65, all of this will come in a compliance package to you with these BioPharmaPro materials and portfolio products. So what have we done on the testing side to date? All of our tubing material, like I said, has been tested to industry standards. These include the full range of BPOG testing, USP Class 6, USP 665, and mechanical testing on the tubing as well. So the regulatory tests, the BPOG and USP testing was done at an accredited lab, and then all mechanical testing was performed at our own Trelleborg R&D centers. And you can see all of the test conditions listed here on the screen, what exactly was tested by those accredited labs, and then what was done internally at Trelleborg. We certainly have these capabilities moving forward. So if there's needs from you that we necessarily haven't addressed here, we can certainly take those in and test for them under your specification and your needs. So this is not an exhaustive list of everything we can do. We're certainly willing and able to test beyond what you see here on the screen for your needs. All right, looking at our global reach. So Florence talked a little bit about, we want to be that local supplier to you on a global scale, right? So Trelleborg has global capabilities, and we can really leverage these capabilities anywhere around the globe to offer that local presence to you and your needs. So you can see we're still a little US dominated on a lot of our manufacturing sites. For biopharma specifically, you'll see a couple call outs here for Northborough, Malta, and then in Asia. These will be our biopharma centers of excellence. So right now, Northborough, Massachusetts is set up as our biopharma center of excellence in the Americas. Malta will be our biopharma center in Europe. So really any European customer will be receiving product, and we'll get into the detail here in a couple slides. We'll be receiving product through that Malta facility for really all the capabilities that I talked to before. So any needs in the Europe region will come from Malta, and then in the future we'll have a biopharma center opening in Asia for the same reason. All these other sites called out will manufacture product for the biopharma market. So Trelleborg has unique capabilities at each of their sites that we can leverage. So not to say that every single one of your products will come from Northborough, will come from Malta, will come from the future site in Asia, but the quality people that will be looking at the product, and some of these larger assemblies that we'll be shipping will be coming from these centers of excellence in your specific region. So looking at a couple of the centers of excellences in a little bit more detail, our Northborough site right now is our biopharma center of excellence as we expand our Malta site, and I'll get into that on the next slide. We're expanding Northborough, so we're increasing our manufacturing footprint at this site. We're increasing capabilities to keep up with the biopharma market. But Northborough is really a full service provider. Their core competency is manufacturing of silicone materials, namely extrusion and LSR molding. And then we're expanding those assembly and added services through clean room expansions and manufacturing plant expansions on that more assembly integrated solution side. We have our own mixing area for our silicone materials, and all LSR injection molding machines, again with the internal Trelleborg tool making, and we have assembly space, packaging and shipping all in Class 7 clean room environments within Northborough. The certification side, ISO 13485, and then we have Class 7 and Class 8 clean rooms depending on your needs. And then Malta, this is our future biopharma center in Europe, currently being expanded into such, with the anticipation coming in 2024 that this will be can use for European customers. This is going to be very similar to what Northborough is doing on the biopharma side. So silicone extrusion, silicone molding, and then those value-added services and assemblies. We have an expandable clean room space here, so we are expanding at the site for our biopharma market, and then with the hopes that we can expand it further in the future. Again, we'll have Class 7 clean room environments and Class 8, and right now ISO 9001 certification. This is an active Trelleborg site, so that this isn't a brand new site for us. This is a very large Trelleborg site for other industries that we're expanding into for the biopharma market. All right, so looking at our communication and our events here moving forward. So our launch is today for the official BioPharmaPro name from Trelleborg, and this is really what to expect from us here in the near future. So the slides will be available from this launch. So please contact myself, Florence, or your appropriate Trelleborg contact to receive them. We will also have a brochure available that will really encompass all of the capabilities, all the materials, all the information that we covered here, more in a compact brochure for you. And again, contact one of us or your Trelleborg contact to receive that brochure. A couple events. So we will be showcasing at the Bioprocess International Show coming up here in September, mid-September in Boston, Massachusetts. So we will have a booth there with a lot of our capabilities on showcase at that show. And also Compomed 2023 in Dusseldorf, Germany, we will be showcasing at as well. So if you're at those events, come by our booth, come see some of the capabilities that we've been talking about today. Come meet Florence and I at our booth, and we can certainly discuss any needs that you have, along with, we'll certainly have some products there to highlight. For any, technical questions or application needs, myself and Florence were fully available to take any of those questions, any of those conversations that you have. And also your main Trelleborg sales contact will be fully up to speed with everything that we've presented here today, and can certainly help you with your own applications, and all of the technical data on materials, products, applications that we've highlighted here today.
Perfect.
All right.
So we're at the end of your presentation. Thank you, Florence and Mike, for this very interesting launch for BioPharmaPro. So we received a couple of customer questions. So I don't know, I guess you can pick it up. I will address it to both of you, and then you decide who answers it. So the first question, and I believe you answered it to some extent already during your presentation, but here it goes. Where are your manufacturing sites, and how can you ensure to supply globally? So I think this was your last part, Mike, so maybe you want to pick it up.
Yeah, so those, the biopharma centers of excellence would be really where our biopharma capabilities will be highlighted. So again, those would be Northborough, Massachusetts for the Americas, Malta in the future for Europe, and then we'll have one coming out for our Asia market as well. So those would be the main sites to contact for anything biopharma, right? So it could be technical questions about applications. It could be a brand new product that you're looking to launch. The expertise would be at those sites. And then the other sites highlighted in that map that I had, again, they can certainly support from manufacturing expertise or core capabilities, so we could certainly source product from those other sites, but everything will be more or less flowed through those centers of excellence.
Okay, and this combines or connects very nicely to our next question. So when you're talking about manufacturing expertise where we are located, what about the collaboration process? So when we are helping a customer out with assemblies, for example, and they think about outsourcing a project, how does this collaboration with Trelleborg would look like?
Yeah. Maybe I can take this one over. So it really depends on what exactly should be outsourced. Do we speak about an existing process, or do we speak about a new project that will be developed completely new? In best case, let's talk about a new project first. You contact us as soon as possible when you start with the development of it, because we are happy to support you in the development process. We know this is your final product, but we are happy to support you from beginning on, having a look on the right design layout so that it is functional according to your requirements, but also that it is easy to manufacture. So you saw we have all of those various different sites, and they all have unique capabilities, and they are the experts for these different capabilities. So that means with all the experts we have within the Trelleborg network, we really can make sure that we find the best way in how to efficiently and economically produce your components. And then definitely we will have a look on the how does everything come together. So we have our lead centers that Mike just introduced, and with the experts there, we can have a look on the manufacturing process. So how do we want to do the final assembly? What is besides that needed, speaking from packaging, labeling, and so on. So everything what is needed can be combined there, and then either an existing process on your side, if you just want to outsource an existing project, can be maybe transferred, or we are developing together with you a new assembly process. So we really support from the right beginning of the prototypes to the serial business. And the good thing here is really that during every step of the upscaling process, as everything is inside the same project team, we learn from every project step, and therefore, we just have a quick learning curve, a very short learning curve, and therefore we can come to market very fast.
And if I may comment on that, I have the pleasure of moderating lots of webinars for Trelleborg, and the message that I always get, and I always mention it because it's I think it's important. We want to be a partner to our customers, and the earlier they come to us, the better solution or the process would be. So the sooner that they come to you guys, to the experts, the better we can find a solution or a partnership with our customers. I hear it every single time, so I have to mention it again today because it ties in very nicely with your answer, Florence.
Yeah, that seems to be a
right.
Trelleborg thing.
Exactly, that's what we want to do for our customers. And I have another question, and this is a very interesting question. This is about sustainability. So we're talking about single-use application, silicone as well. So how can we work on sustainability? How can we improve it, or what are we doing in that field?
Yeah, I can take this one. Yeah, so single-use plastics are not a term we want to be hearing too much these days. Yeah. So Trelleborg is very driven to come up with a solution for the single-use products that we deliver to not only the biopharma market but any other market that uses single-use materials. So considering the silicones, thermoplastics, our goal is to look at the circularity of those materials. Consider some end-of-life solutions that we can assist our customers with. It could be a recommendation to how to properly dispose of it, or it could be some other system that we develop to reuse the material in its existing form or repurpose it for another application. These are questions that we're taking very seriously and something that we're actively trying to come up with for our customers. So we ultimately want to have a sustainable product that's branded under our Trelleborg name, and we're all very, very driven here within the organization to make that happen. So I know a lot of our customers are their systems and the circularity of their own systems, and under this BioPharmaPro, we want to be there, the one-stop shop for these single-use components. We also want to take responsibility for our products and have that circularity aspect to it. So look out for these solutions in the future, and it's something we're very actively working on for all these products.
Yeah, definitely. I have to comment again because it is true. I'm active in other parts of the organization as well as not only launch it, but I hear it more and more. Circularity. How can we support our customers with their sustainability goals? So I can confirm again that we are very active in that area. So I'm very curious about what's coming in the future in this whole sustainability area. But thank you, Mike. So I'm going to jump into the next question. Hold on a second. Yeah, another interesting question. What makes you different from other contract manufacturers that customers are already working with?
Yeah, I would say that's a combination of the capabilities that we can offer, the capabilities and where those capabilities are. So maybe coming back to this, the earlier the better. So we have a lot of expertise, especially in the design finding, in engineering, in materials. So we can also, if needed, we can develop the right material for your needs. But then it comes from materials to process capabilities. So we really have all of these capabilities which were just introduced in-house. So you can consolidate the complete supply chain just with one supplier, as everything can be manufactured, but still due to those several different locations which are focusing on one specific part, it's not that it's like one is doing everything, but they are really in-depth experts in those topics. And then expanding this to a global setup, you have the chance to get the same capabilities with the same materials globally. And we see that this is something what is very unique in the market. If you just think about the different materials, typically you don't get the same materials in different regions. There are just differences because you have different recipes in different regions due to different regulatory requirements or availability. And we are working on a setup to really have the same material and the same recipes available globally, so that you have actually one final product that you can receive out of every region in the world.
Yeah. And there's a big piece on the innovation side too. So, you know, we talked through a lot of capabilities, a lot of materials and product examples, but we're driven to come up with novel, innovative solutions for this market. So this is certainly not an exhaustive list of everything we want to be able to deliver to this market. So we're adapting to the market, we're adding capabilities, we're looking at this from an innovative standpoint to really take on any needs that our customers have.
Okay, thank you guys. I have 2 more questions, and I think we still have time for those. So the first one, and I think you touched a bit on that as well, Mike, but maybe you can give a more in-depth answer to an overview of tubing sizes.
Sure. That could be something we could pass out after if you know, we could be contacted, we could give a more of a listing. I think that would be the best thing. But we do have standard size offerings for both the tubing, so the unreinforced, and then the braided reinforced tubing. So we certainly have those standard sizes that we can pass out to those in need. So I think it would be best for Florence or I to be contacted, and we can deliver those size lists.
For a very first impression, you can already have a look into our brochure, but there you get really a first impression and all the details. If you want to get more information, as Mike just said, just contact us.
Yep.
Perfect. I don't know if we have a QR code after this slide that takes our participants to our website. I'm not sure if we have that in here, but in any case, if you want to find the brochure, you can go to the Trelleborg Sealing Solutions website, and we even have a dedicated website for BioPharmaPro. So for this launch, we have a standalone page where you will find information, and you will also find the brochure, and you will also be able to contact our experts. And okay, one last question, and I think I'm also very interested in this answer, because being this healthcare and medical topic, the question relates or reads, do you produce all your components in clean room environment?
I would say that's a it depends answer. Definitely, we have capabilities for almost all of our manufacturing processes, not for all of them, as it just doesn't make sense for everything. So it really depends on the product, on the material, and what the final product component will be, on your application and your requirements. So we have almost all capabilities inside and outside available, depending on the requirements. But what we can say, thinking about tubing, for example, you have a long lumen which needs to be clean inside. Definitely such a component needs to be manufactured in clean room if there will be product contact afterwards. So there's nothing to talk about. Then there are other components which are where you maybe generate during the manufacturing process already a lot of particles. This is something that we typically manufacture outside the clean room, but then we have specific washing processes in place to make sure that we can level up the quality up to a clean room quality after the manufacturing process, and then bring it inside the clean room. So especially when we talk about an integrated solution, you can be sure that everything is manufactured out of clean room, or it is up-leveled to a clean room quality and then assembled to a fully clean room solution.
So I guess regardless of the product being produced in a clean room or not in a clean room, we ensure that the product is certified, or whatever the term might be for this, to be used in this healthcare medical industry.
Exactly. We can make sure that according to your requirements, we achieve the right, let's say, particle levels, for example, or microbiological levels that you need to be sure that you can make use of this product in your application, so that we generate a safe system for the final manufacturing of the therapies.
Perfect. Thank you for your answer, Florence. I do not see any more questions coming in. So up to you guys. Do you have anything else, a concluding statement? Or, I mean, I guess I just have to thank you for being here, especially you, Mike. So
Absolutely.
an early morning for you.
Absolutely.
We have recorded this session. So we will send out the link to this recording. And my part is done. So I leave it up to you guys for any final words.
I would say thank you, everyone, for dialing in, for listening to us. We hope you are as excited as we are to get this new portfolio going together with you. We hope that we really met what you are looking for. As Mike said, we are super interested in what you are currently working. So feel free to contact us with all kinds of new developments where you need support. We are looking forward to support you, not only in what we just introduced, but in so much more, whatever you can think about. So therefore, feel free to contact us, and we can't wait to hear more from you.
Yeah, thank you all, and you know, don't be afraid to reach out to Florence or I. And like I said, your main Trelleborg sales contact will be up to speed with everything we discussed here. So really, any channel into us here at Trelleborg would be appropriate. But we're certainly here to help you, and you know, please utilize us, utilize our expertise, Trelleborg's expertise. We're here to make you successful. So we're very excited for this launch, and very excited to see what the future has for us.
All the new projects coming in, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I wish you a very nice day, and we have another session in the afternoon, so we will see you again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Maria.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.